Hey, well, good morning and welcome. Thank you guys so much for your attendance today. We just want to say we appreciate your patience. We certainly appreciate all your questions. This platform really gives us an opportunity to communicate with our media partners, and you guys mean so much to us, but this really helps us communicate all at one time instead of answering a lot of one-off questions, and really allows us to just focus on our customers and serving them during this time, which is really what's most important. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Steve Smith, let him make some opening comments, and we have your questions that you've submitted ready to ask Steve, and we'll go from there. So Steve?
Well, good morning to everybody. I'm going to open up with a few brief comments and reiterate a few points that I've made in the past, because I think it's very important that our listeners understand that there are some basic things that they don't have to worry about. Again, there's no evidence of food or food packaging being involved in the transmission of this virus. I think that's something that people can rest easy about. It is not a foodborne illness, and it is not to be transmitted via food. Again, the United States is not going to run out of food. Precautions are being taken to make sure that we have ample supplies in our stores. Stores are going to remain open 7 days a week in most cases, and groceries are going to be on the shelf. Now, in response to some of the demand, manufacturers have adjusted some of the products that they're making. They've limited the number of SKUs or items that we may carry in a particular store. In our Food City stores, you'll notice as you go up and down the aisles that we say item temporarily not available from manufacturer. These are several hundred now. We probably expect that to go into the thousands before this gets through. And again, those will be temporarily out of stock, but we'll let our customers know. To be alarmed about shortages is human nature. Again, we are getting most products that we need to carry into our stores. Let me stress how critical it is to shop as you need the items. Please don't hoard the items. Please shop for your weekly shopping needs, and it'll leave more for other folks. We'll continue to offer in-store deals. We'll continue to promote. You'll see the week after Easter, we will be back in the newspaper with some ads that I know a lot of our customers look forward to. Now, again, I'm going to reiterate the safety of our customers and our dedicated team of associates is our primary responsibility and our primary focus during this trying time. And we've implemented some additional precautionary measures. As you know, we've reduced our store hours somewhat to give our associates more time to clean, sanitize, and stock our stores. We've also allowed our older customers, 65 and older, and some of our folks with pre-existing conditions to be able to come in between 7 and 8 o'clock in the morning when we open the store. Obviously, we're going to close our stores at 10 o'clock at night with limited hours. Again, we ask our customers to be respectful of this time that we give to our seniors, our folks at greater risk. We're going to see us sanitizing and cleaning throughout the day. We have now assigned somebody to the front of our stores that is going to do nothing but clean and sanitize shopping carts as folks come into our store. We've installed our plexiglass shields at all our check stands and customer service checkout areas throughout our stores. We're focused on social distancing through PA announcements in our stores periodically to floor graphics, to just encouraging people to stay 6 feet apart and to be socially distanced. We're also in the process of procuring face masks for all our associates. We've been following the CDC advice, and until recently they did not recommend face masks. Our associates are free to wear face masks as they desire, and we will be supplying them hopefully by sometime next week. We've seen a huge spike in our Go-Kart and our Instacart, our home delivery, and our curbside pickup. And again, that's a great option for people in our stores. And most importantly, we just want to thank our associates for the great job that they've been doing. And we also want to thank our customers for the patience that they've shown during these trying times. I understand it is a trying time for all of us. And again, we're in this together, and we'll get through this together if we continue to work together. And now I'll turn the floor over to Kevin Stafford, and we'll try and shoot some questions that the folks have asked.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. First group of questions comes around hiring. And the first one, a few weeks ago, Food City announced a hiring campaign. Can you give us an update on how that campaign is going?
Well, Kevin, the campaign really is pretty much complete. We set a goal of 2,500 new associates to bring into our company. And I'll have to say we did a great job of getting those folks on board. Again, they've been great Food City associates. They've helped us be able to take better care of our customers, to be able to clean and stock and do the things we need to do to really serve the influx of new customers that we've got in our stores, and also the increased purchases from our existing customers. So we're very proud of that. That's both at retail and at our distribution center as well.
Speaking of the distribution center, the next question goes along those lines. Are you hiring more CDL drivers?
Yeah, CDL really stands for Certified Driver's License, people that are qualified to drive an 18-wheeler, and the answer is yes. And we're always looking for good drivers. There are a few basic requirements. They really need to have a clean, good driving record, and they also need to have 2 years over-the-road experience, which quite honestly is a little less than what we required in times before. So again, we've partnered with a lot of third-party truckers in our area that may have lost other loads to be able to help haul our loads when we've had these peaks that we've had over the last 4 weeks, because we are 4 weeks into this now. It seems longer, I know, to everybody, but that's the amount of time we've been into this spike in our sales.
Last question on hiring really talks about our associates and attendance issues. With this outbreak, are we having any attendance issues, and are our associates showing up for work?
Well, Kevin, I'm proud to say that our Food City team has gone above and beyond the call of duty, not just at our stores, but our distribution center, our transportation folks. Yes, we've had a few extra folks that are out on personal leave because they may have had a pre-existing condition. They may have family members that have had something that may put them at a little higher risk. We're working with these folks to let them have personal leave. But again, the additional hires that we've made have supplemented that, and we're fully staffed and ready to take care of folks.
Steve, the next group of questions goes around associate safety, and I know how important our associates are. Are store employees permitted to wear face masks and gloves?
Absolutely. They unfortunately, we don't have them to supply right now. As I think we know, there is a shortage of face masks in this country. Certainly the healthcare workers and first responders need to get priority to those. As those become available, we will make at no cost to our associates those masks, and hopefully we can get into those by sometime next week. But in the meantime, if they've got homemade masks, they're welcome to wear them. Matter of fact, encouraged to wear them. And also the same way with gloves. And we do have the gloves, and we'll supply those to our team.
Along those same lines with the associates, tell us a little bit about the appreciation bonuses that associates received last week.
Well, again, we wanted to recognize the hard work that our team did over the first couple of weeks of this pandemic. And it was very challenging for everybody. The unknown is always challenging, the increased volume. And our folks stepped up and did a heck of a job, and we wanted to reward them with that, both our hourly, our part-time, and our salary folks, the whole Food City team.
And as we stay on this whole thing about safety and shift from the associates over to the customers, what about the safety of the customers that shop our stores? What can they expect?
Well, again, as I said in my opening comments, they'll see when they walk in the front of one of our stores, they'll see a dedicated associate from the time we open, literally to the time we close. They're sanitizing the handles on the carts. We'll sanitize those carts each morning before we open with a spray sanitizer that takes about 10 minutes to sit on the carts and completely sanitize the carts. We'll be doing that throughout the day as we have carts that come in. And again, the plexiglass, it puts a barrier between our associates and our customers, gives them a little added protection. Again, we want people to be socially distanced when they're in the store. Remember good practices, and that will keep not only our customers safe, but it'll help keep our associates safe as well.
Steve, I know you mentioned on social distancing in your opening comments about signage in the store, floor graphics in the store, PA announcements. What about what we've seen in other places? Do you have any plans to start limiting the number of shoppers you permit in your stores at one time?
You know, Kevin, we don't at this time. Now, we do have some plans if we need to go to that, but I'm absolutely convinced that our customers understand their responsibilities when they come to our stores. And if we'll follow those responsibilities, I don't think we'll have to get into a position where we have to meter people or allow certain numbers of people in. In our stores, we spent a lot of dollars over the years to enlarge our stores, to remodel our stores, to give folks a little bit bigger shopping experience, so it keeps people able to be spread out. And again, if we'll just follow the basic practices, I think we can let people come as they want to come and not have to let a few people in at a time.
Okay, so several questions as it relates to the supply chain. I know you touched on that in your opening comments, but can you kind of give an update to everyone on the supply chain?
Well, again, as I've said before, Kevin, the supply chain in the United States has been severely tested during these 4 weeks. And I'll give you some examples of cases that we've shipped to our stores from our distribution center. The first week, we shipped over 1,300,000 cases, and we received just over 1 million cases. So that's a deficit of 300,000 cases that we shipped more than we received. The next week, we moved up to 1.4 million cases, and we only received 1.1 million. So we dug the hole a little deeper. The third week, we shipped 1,500,000 cases. We only received 1,300,000 cases. So the hole got a little bit deeper. The out of stocks got a little bit greater. I'm proud to say that last week, we turned that around some. We shipped 1,400,000 cases, and we received 1,735,000 cases. And just yesterday, the first day of the work week we measure, we shipped out about 82,000 cases, and we received almost 200,000 cases. So you can see that we're making headway. People will start to see it. It won't get fixed, in a day or a week, and probably won't be completely fixed in a month. But we will start making headway, and our buyers and procurement folks have done a good job with that.
Can you give us an update on some of those essential items that people are looking for?
Yeah, I mean, it's still very frustrating. When you come in the store and you don't see paper products, whether it's bath tissue or whether it's paper towels. But let me just give you some statistics that'll kind of amaze me when I looked at them. And this is last week. Our bath tissue sales, even though we don't see a lot of it in the shelves, were up 80% compared to last year. Our paper towel sales were up 101%. So that means we sold twice as many paper towels this year as we did last year, even though we don't see quite as many. Ramen noodles up 132%, soup up 88%. Household cleaners, another item that people say we can't find a lot of, we were up 132%. So when you hear those numbers, and when we know that the movement's more than doubled, certainly the manufacturers are shipping us more product. It's just still not quite enough to take care of all the needs.
Steve, has the panic buying slowed down some?
Well, Kevin, it has in some cases, and I'll give you 2 examples. Last week we had 2 of our municipalities or localities had a shelter-in-place order. That was Georgia, where we've got several stores in the North Georgia market and the Chattanooga market in the city of Chattanooga. And I can tell you for about 3 days or 4 days, it was wide open. And it really, we'd made a little headway, but it strained that headway we'd made. And we had to really focus on getting those stores replenished with product. So if no more orders are put in place and things stay steady, our business gets a little bit more predictable, and predictable means we can order better and we can stay in stock better.
Steve, along those lines, are there any products that shoppers can expect to see in short supply for the long term?
Again, I think sanitizers, both hand sanitizers and disinfectants are probably going to be in short supply. You're not going to see a lot of that on the shelf. Some items like bleach are going to be allocated. And again, I'll say some paper items will probably have some allocations still on them for a number of weeks, if not months. The good thing is we're still getting this product in, and we're still getting it, on a pretty regular basis. So, again, people just need to be vigilant, and hopefully we can, we'll have some of that for the folks.
One of the media partners sends a follow-up from their last time we had a question. You talked a lot about some of the unique things Food City's doing around addressing supply chain issues. The example that was given was working with restaurant food service companies. Of all these new things you've tried, what's worked well and what areas are still challenging?
Well, certainly the food service angle was a great angle because they had product in their warehouses. The restaurants were shut down. They needed to move that product. That's pretty much been alleviated, although we still have some great food service workers from a partner down in Johnson City. We're utilizing some of their transportation as well to be able to get products. We're doing a lot more backhauls from with our trucks that bring product back to our warehouse. So we're really doing a lot of unique things and out of the box things that I won't say we didn't do it before, but we're certainly doing it in a lot greater numbers now.
You mentioned the word backhaul, probably not a familiar term with many people, but tell us a little bit more about what that involves and how it benefits Food City.
Well, if we make a delivery to a store, Kevin, we're trying to have a full truck that goes to Chattanooga or goes to Knoxville. And what we want to do, we want to find supply routes, distribution routes that we can pick up a full load of product and bring it back to our distribution here in Abington, Virginia. So if it's bush beans in the Dandridge area, if it's going to Atlanta to be able to pick up ConAgra items or Kraft Heinz items in that market, we'll send our trucks on there, we'll load them up, and we'll bring back full loads of product. So we're not shipping air on empty trailers. We're shipping product that's going to get back and get in people's stores as soon as possible.
Along the same lines of supply chain and a question here about pricing, I know you've worked hard to hold the line on pricing. Tell us a little bit more about what's happening with prices in the store.
Well, that's a good question. And it's certainly a very sensitive question right now to consumers because people are sensitive to seeing prices that change. And obviously there's some supply and demand issues that have gone on during this. And I'll just use one that's a pretty good example, and that's eggs. There's been a shortage of eggs. Our eggs are up 50–60%. The chickens, unfortunately, are still laying about the same amount of eggs in this country, and the price has gone up because that's what happens in supply and demand. And while we've had to push a little bit of that onto the consumer, it's much less than the price has gone up. Same way with ground beef. Our meat sales last week were up 90%, and that makes, ground beef or other items short. So that drives a little bit of the price up. Us and other retailers, unfortunately, have to pass a little bit of that on to the consumer. Most center store, we haven't seen a lot of price increases. We have seen some circumstances where manufacturers will remove their deals or their promotions on items, which gives us a lower cost to be able to pass that on to the consumer. And unfortunately, sometimes people perceive that as a price increase when it's actually an item just goes off deal to us.
So switch gears a little bit, talk about e-commerce. You mentioned e-commerce in your opening statements. With more customers concerned about safety, are you seeing an increase in curbside pickup?
Well, curbside pickup has been a hugely popular convenience for the consumer. It's up over 350% over the last 4 weeks. We have that in about 55 of our supermarkets. And, again, we're limited a little bit by the scope of the number of people that we can have to professionally and adequately shop for the consumer. I think the last I looked today, we had most of our stores sold out for today and tomorrow. Again, we'll have more slots open later in the week. So we would encourage people to kind of get in front of that and get ahead of it. Instacart, which is home delivery, maybe is a little bit easier to get slots in. We do that in a little over 100 stores. And they're a great partner because we do partner with a third party that comes into our stores, shops, and delivers actually to the homes of our customers.
So some miscellaneous questions. We haven't had this one in any of our press conferences that we've had, but it relates around fuel, Steve. And, you know, there obviously is a worldwide reduction in gas prices. And the first question around fuel is, how has that affected the bottom line at Food City?
Well, probably it's had a little bit of a negative effect. I had a customer tell me the other day, Kevin, they said, you know, Steve said, you lower the darn prices of fuel and I got no place to go. And I guess that is true because fuel consumption's down probably 30 to 40% in our stores, maybe a little bit more than that nationally. You know, we're seeing some of the lowest fuel prices we've seen in a number of years in our stores. And to be honest, I expect those prices because of demand to continue to go down over the next few weeks. I think that's a win for our consumers. You know, we're not selling as much, so it probably hurts our profit a little bit. But on the bright side, diesel fuel, which we use a lot of diesel fuel to haul our groceries, is also down. So that saves us a little money on our transportation. So again, I hope people do enjoy not only the lower fuel prices, but enjoy using their loyalty rewards on that. I know, for example, next Wednesday, we've got a great deal where they can use 3 gas visits and save 45 cents. I mean, you may see gas by that time being down well under $1.50 a gallon with your rewards, and I think that's pretty exciting, maybe even lower than that.
Yeah. Great response, Steve. And a couple more questions, and we'll end this for the day. You know, obviously with the COVID-19 pandemic, it's been very trying in the public and for a lot of people. You know, how has that bled over into your stores?
Well, I think anytime there's a lot of anxiety with our customers, there's anxiety with our associates too. I mean, these folks that work in our stores, and quite frankly, in all retail stores, whether it's a Food City or some of our competitors, you know, they're heroes too. The fact they show up every day and they meet the consumer, you know, they're putting themselves at a little risk too. So, you know, we just want to make sure that everybody has a little extra dose of patience, a little extra dose of understanding. And again, as I say, we can all get through this together. There is another side, and that'll get here hopefully sooner than later. And I'm proud of what our customers have been able to do. And as I walk the stores almost every morning, I go into stores early in the morning because I want to know what our inventory levels are like. And I hear customer after customer thank not only me, but our team for what they do. And I really do think people appreciate that. The fact that, you know, the men and women that work in our industry are here to feed America. And that's what we do. And I'm very proud of that.
Steve, we're coming up on Easter weekend. Any encouraging words you have for Food City associates, for our customers, for our media partners?
Well, obviously Easter is a special time in our country. It's a time that we obviously, you know, honor our Lord, but it's also a time that we share with our family. And this year we hope people do spend time with family. We hope that they gather. We hope that they have a meal. We hope that they continue to socially distance appropriately. But we've changed our hours a little bit. We're going to be open from 7 to 4 p.m., 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's a little different because normally we have regular hours on Easter. That'll give our team a little extra time off. I think our customers can probably